A story that has shaken establishments all over the world has just taken another really dramatic turn. The Jeffrey Epstein case, which was already this dark, tangled web of power, money, and abuse, has been completely reignited. And this time, a very bright spotlight is pointing directly at the United Kingdom.
And why now? Well, it's because of a massive data dump from the U.S. Department of Justice. I mean, we are talking about more than 3 million files. It is a mountain of documents, emails, and financial records that are now being picked apart, revealing connections that were, until now, completely hidden from public view.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll break down these brand new revelations, starting with the key British political figure right at the center of this storm. Then we'll dig into the actual evidence, look at the political fallout, and finally, we'll zoom out to see how all of this fits into the much bigger global picture.
All right, so to really get a handle on the impact of these new files, it's pretty crucial to remember the man who was at the very center of this whole web. That is, of course, Jeffrey Epstein. He was a convicted sex offender who used his unbelievable wealth and influence to build this network of powerful friends. His death back in 2019 left so many questions unanswered, questions that these newly released documents are, well, finally beginning to address. Now, while a lot of names have come up, there is one that has caused an immediate political earthquake in Britain. Peter Mandelson, a really towering figure in the country's recent political history. So, who is this guy? Well, for decades, Lord Mandelson has been a master political operator, right at the very heart of the British establishment. He was a key figure in Tony Blair's government, and he's a life peer in the House of Lords. His influence is just undeniable, but his career has also been full of controversy. He had to resign from the cabinet twice before. And this is why he's now at the center of this story. The documents don't just suggest some passing acquaintance. They paint a picture of a deep, long-standing friendship. In fact, a message from 2003 shows Mandelson referring to the convicted financier as his best friend. Okay, so what exactly do these millions of pages claim about Mandelson? The evidence that's come out so far seems to fall into 3 main categories. The files contain specific messages that raise very serious questions about potential misconduct in public office. That means using an official government position for personal or improper reasons, really blurring the lines between a private friendship and official duties. And this is a perfect example. We're looking at a 2009 email where Mandelson, who was a serving government minister at the time, forwarded a confidential memo on economic policy, a memo meant only for the prime minister, directly to Jeffrey Epstein. And his comment on it? Interesting note that went to the prime minister. But it didn't stop at just sharing information, apparently. Other emails seem to suggest Mandelson actually advised Epstein on how to influence UK government policy. Specifically, he suggested that the head of the banking giant JP Morgan should put some pressure on the finance minister over a new tax on bankers' bonuses. And then, of course, there's the money. Bank records found in the files reportedly show payments from Epstein's accounts. We're talking $75,000 to accounts linked to Mandelson, plus another £10,000 to his husband. Now, for his part, Mandelson has said he has no memory of these payments, but that he is investigating. The fallout from all of this? It was immediate. Within days, Lord Mandelson resigned his membership from the Labour Party, the very party he helped to reshape, saying he didn't want to cause it any further embarrassment. But him resigning from the party is nowhere near the end of this story. Let's look at the wider political fallout in the UK, where the pressure is seriously escalating. This is coming from the very top. The UK's Prime Minister has been absolutely clear, publicly stating that Mandelson should be removed from his position in the House of Lords, which is the upper chamber of the UK Parliament. Okay, so you might be thinking, just remove him. But here's the thing. It is way easier said than done. You see, a position in the House of Lords is a lifetime appointment. It's a system that's rooted in centuries of tradition. It's not a political post that can just be revoked. To actually expel a member would require passing a special act of parliament, a pretty drastic step that hasn't been taken in more than 100 years. And even though all eyes are on Britain right now, we have to pull the camera back and remember, this is just one thread in a huge global web. The Epstein files reveal a network that crossed continents and touched the highest levels of power everywhere. This right here, this is just a glimpse. We see mentions of Britain's Prince Andrew, the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and even the French President Emmanuel Macron from his time as a minister.
Over in Slovakia, the foreign minister resigned after being named. Every case is different, but when you put them together, they paint a staggering picture of Epstein's access and his influence. So, yeah, the release of these 3 million documents, it doesn't feel like a conclusion at all. It feels more like an opening chapter. And as investigators, journalists, and the public continue to sift through all this evidence, the central question is still just hanging there. What other connections, what other abuses of power are still waiting to be uncovered?